If we wanted it to make a profit for a few people, it would be a private enterprise, which it's not.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
This is just going to be a really quick one because I just got a text from Travis McCoy. He is a steward of the National Association of Letter Carriers, Branch 462 in Huntsville. He texted me while we were taping the show that the Postal Service Reform Act passed the Senate. This is huge news.
That is
huge, huge news. The Postal Service Reform Act is a very important piece of legislation in protecting the Postal Service from privatization, in ensuring that it continues to provide working people with good jobs, and in ensuring it provides working people with good service, with on-time delivery, with 6-day delivery. With making sure, protecting it from privatization. And, this is such good news. And the reason that it's so important is, I'll just a really short overview. You can go back and watch some previous coverage that we've done of this. We've spoken to. Last year, we spoke to Anna Mudd, the legislative director, I believe is her title, for the National Association of Letter Carriers, about this legislation. But the biggest thing that it does is it repeals the health care pre-funding mandate for retirees, which was instituted on a bipartisan basis, which is all the more surprising for this passage because usually bipartisan means you're being screwed even harder. But in 2006, it was passed on a bipartisan basis to mandate that the Postal Service pre-fund health care for retirees 75 years in advance. 75 years in advance. No other federal agency does that. No other private company does that. But the Postal Service was required to do that in 2006. And why is that? Because Democrats and Republicans want to privatize it. And so there's been enough pushback on that from the workers at the Postal Service and from the people who receive that service that there's finally support in Congress to repeal that, which is really, really good. Because every time that you hear all this nonsense about, the Postal Service, every year it operates on such a big deficit. Every year it goes into debt. Every year it doesn't. For one thing, I don't care if it runs like government services are not to make a profit. That's not why we do these things. We do these things to provide a public good to our citizens. We don't do it. That's why it's run by the government. If we wanted it to make a profit for a few people, it would be a private enterprise, which it's not. It's public because we want to provide the public with this service. Okay, so even if it
service dating back to literally the founding of the country.
Yeah, so even if it did run a deficit every year, that's not reason enough to attack the Postal Service. But it doesn't. Every time that you hear about the Postal Service running this huge debt deficit, whatever, like 90-something% of that can be attributed to the healthcare pre-funding mandate. 90-something% of that. It's bogus, totally unnecessary, does not help the Postal Service perform, does not help the taxpayer, does not help the workers, does not help the people who receive the service. It's all around bad. They only implemented it to make the Postal Service look bad so that they could use that as an argument to privatize it. So the Postal Service Reform Act has passed the United States House of Representatives. It has now passed the United States Senate, and it goes to President Biden's desk for him to sign, which he has said he supports the bill. He has said he will sign it. And so here again, by the time that you listen to this show, we could see this bill become law. So very good news, uncharacteristically good news from D.C.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time we had something good coming out of Congress. Yeah. So that's.
And the last time that we talked about this, there was a comment on the YouTube video talking about that, this person was worried that they have snuck a poison pill in here because I don't know, it's not a gendered name. I don't know, male or female or non-binary. But they said that because how often we get screwed by bipartisan legislation, it was very difficult for them to accept that it was good. But I do believe that it's good because it has the strong support of every single postal worker union. I believe that if there was a poison pill in this bill, I can't sit here and tell you that I've read the whole thing. I have read analysis of it. I've listened to the workers that are affected by it, and because it has such strong support by the National Association of Letter Carriers, by the American Postal Workers Union, by the rural carriers, by the National Postal Mail Handlers Union, because it has such strong support from those unions, I believe that it is at least on balance a good bill. But I from everything that I'm reading from it, it seems like it's unambiguously good. So take that for what it is. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.